Welcome back to the Paradigm Shift. I am, of course, Big Rob back with you. My good buddy Jesse, what's happening, my friend?
Hey there, buddy. Looking forward to talking about today's podcast. I know we're going to be getting into all things hockey. Looking to smack a couple people into the boards, see what happens.
Hurt some feelings.
Yeah.
Let's smash some chiclets.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, the NHL. So first off, I mean, there's been so much change over the last, I'd say, 2 decades in terms of rules and in terms of the structure of like the NHL qualifying spots and stuff like that. So I really wanted to dive a lot into it. Now, first, how to qualify for the playoffs. Now, I grew up on the top 8 in the East, top 8 in the West in terms of points, and there you go, right? You got your playoff contenders. But then they switched things. I can't remember what year, but they switched things up. Feels like a while ago now. To the top 3 from the Metropolitan, the top 3 from the Atlantic, and then 2 wild card spots where someone can cross over or whatever the case might be, right?
Okay.
And same goes for the West. I hate this structure. I hate
Come
it.
on, right off the top of the episode.
Yeah. I'm gonna hurt some feelings right off the top. I mean, this is one of those Gary Bettman bullshit things. You have teams every year who have more points but don't qualify. Right? And it's just the way that it's structured, and it's not. I mean, I hate using the word fair, because the world is everything, is a lot of things, but it isn't fair isn't one of them, right? But to see good teams who have enough points to qualify for the playoffs but get bumped out because, like, let's say there's 5 teams from the Metropolitan that get in, but let's be honest, there's never 5 teams from the Metropolitan that get in, right?
I was about to say, what hockey are you watching?
But at the same time, it's not. I don't think it's structured properly, and I don't know why Gary Bettman holds on to this so strongly. What do you think?
So first off, let me ask a question back to you, though. I'm going to volley this one back over the net. So, who's your team? Let me ask you, who's your team?
Well, I mean, I was born in Toronto, so I'm a Leafs guy, right?
So that could be part of the problem here.
Yeah, big fucking problem. My whole life, it's been a fucking
Damn it! Turns out it's the team. I came to bitch about the rules, but it's the team that did it.
Yeah. Well, I'll get into the Leafs. You wait. We'll get into it. But
I don't know. I guess I don't really have the same gripe on that particular issue of the way they have the teams get in. I guess the way I look at like playoff hockey is, first off, I absolutely love playoff hockey. I feel like the games are better. They're more competitive. Everybody's, playing to the last minute. Love it. And I feel like it goes on forever. like the hockey playoffs. God, they go on for like, what is it, like 4 months? I mean, it just kind of keeps going. I love it.
It ends in June.
So, I don't really have that same complaint per se, but I can sort of see your point. I can see your point. I don't know. I guess it kind of comes back to what do you think's more important, wins versus losses or points?
Well, I mean, they do divide that up. I mean, if there's 2 teams tied, obviously regulation wins take it, right? First thing they do is they get rid of the overtime points.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. But you said something interesting there that I'd like to kind of unpack a little bit more. Now, you said that, so you don't have an issue with the way that it's structured. Playoff hockey being, you love playoff hockey. Why? Now, this is another thing that bothers me. Why is playoff hockey so much different than regular season. And I don't mean in terms of intensity from the players and stuff like that, right? Because that's obvious. I
Okay.
mean, there's going to be throwaway games on a Tuesday night that, players just take the night off. It's going to happen a handful of times a year. They're playing like, was it 82 games a year now?
A lot of games.
Like, it's crazy, right? So naturally, teams are going to, kind of mail a couple games in here and there. Pisses the fans off. It's not fair to people who buy tickets, but it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't, right? What I'm referring to is the structure, the reffing. This drives me absolutely insane. The refs, I don't want to say I don't have an issue when they put their whistles away during the playoffs. But so often, and I'm not just talking about my team. I watch other teams, or I can't watch my team in the playoffs this year. So I'm watching other teams play. And, you're
sorry.
You're seeing refs who are clearly, and I hate saying it, but clearly biased against certain teams, right? You're seeing they'll put the whistles away for 2 periods, right? For example, how often do you see something like this in the playoffs? They'll put the whistles away for 2 periods, and then in the 3rd period, they'll call like 3 or 4 penalties against one team. And that's a deciding factor in a game, right? Like these refs, I've heard this a lot. These refs should be, in my opinion, at least in the playoffs, not for a regular season, but at least for the playoffs. The refs should have to come out and talk to the press the same as the players do. Nobody holds the refs accountable.
Yeah, I think when it comes to refs, you kind of have 2 views, right? It's like subjective versus objective. You want to believe they're objective. They're paid to be objective, right? What was that?
They're human.
They're human, yeah. But the reality is, I mean, they're out there on the ice. You probably got, your goon squad flicking boogers or, talking shit as they're skating by. They deal with that stuff, right? I mean, they're the ones that are breaking up the fight, right? They're getting in the middle of that shit constantly. I'm sure there's certain players that they're just like, God, I hate this guy. Here we go. Like, this is going to be a long 3 hours. And they go into it, kind of ready to blow the whistle. Now, the other side of that, I would say, and I think about this a lot, right? With all of the pervasive sports gambling today, right? I think it probably applies to the NHL. I usually think about this in terms of like college football and things like that, but I think it would apply in the NHL as well. Is if you think about how much money is riding on every game and the like the call sheets and the poly markets, and is somebody going to get 3 shots or whatever, over under all these different little stat lines and things, right? These referees, I mean, they're getting paid a regular salary. Who's to say that there isn't somebody somewhere in this whole scheme of things that does a little influencing here or there, right, for a kickback? Mm-hmm. They have to be doing it. I mean, it's simple math if you think about it, right? Like, if let's say out of 100 referees, 3 of them did this, I could totally see that happening, and sometimes I don't know if it's the same in the NHL, but like in the NFL in particular, there are certain players that are like untouchable, right? And the refs, like one of the ones that they used to do was the Kansas City Chiefs. Their offensive line was never called for holding, ever. The whole game, the whole season, ever. And these fucking guys hold every single play. And every big play that Pat Mahomes gets is because somebody's holding. And it's like blatant, like they tackled the guy into the ground. And everybody's going, oh, come on, And so, I think on the NHL side of things, you've got to have the same thing happening, with kind of the stars and the goons. And there's certain markets that, I mean, let's be honest, you got like a small market team versus like a New York or somebody like that. Who are you going to push? This is a business at the end of the day. Yeah. I can kind of see that, I mean, you want to believe it's like collegiate and everything's fair and, all the whistles are even, but I don't think so.
It really needs to be like, I'll give you an example. Do you remember the Tim Peel situation?
No.
So Tim Peel, obviously an NHL referee, he was an NHL referee, right? He was caught on a hot mic during a game saying he was looking to call a penalty against one specific team. On March, in March of 2021, it was a regular season game between Nashville and the Detroit Red Wings. Early in the second period, Peel called a tripping penalty on the Predators. Victor Arvidsson. A call many viewed as a soft or questionable call, which don't even get me started on that. Moments later, with his ringside TV microphone still live, Peel was overheard saying, quote, "It wasn't much, but I wanted to get an explicitive penalty against Nashville early." So he was caught on a hot mic, didn't realize his mic was live, saying to the other refs, "It was a soft call, it wasn't much, but I was looking to make a call against Nashville." That's just one example, but that shows you right there that these refs they do have agendas of their own.
Yeah, there's bias. But, likewise, think about this. Think of devil's advocate, right? Like, how many times do you have the player that sort of like fakes the injury and then they blow the whistle, right? You can have that too, the flip side of it.
Well, that's the thing, right? So a lot of refs, for example, there are like greasy players in the league, but highly skilled greasy players. Your Kachucks, your Nazem Kadris and stuff like that, right? They walk the line. Now, you'll go through periods where, it's kind of just like known that refs will not call anything. They won't call penalties against players that hit those guys. Good luck if you're Nazem Kadri or a Kachuk or something like that, sometimes drawing a penalty. Refs just won't call one in your team's favor because it's you, right?
Yeah.
And they say, well, it's because these players, the refs feel like these players try to make them look stupid. They're not trying to make you as a person look stupid. They're trying to win a hockey game. They're trying to draw penalties. They're trying to get away with stuff, yes. But that doesn't mean from one game to the next you can carry that over, right? If a player gets caught, right, diving or whatever the case might be, then yeah, maybe for the rest of that game you don't allow him to draw any more penalties, but you can't carry that on for 6 months worth of games for that player, right? And refs do that. It's like, and there are legitimate calls that should go in their favor that just don't, because the ref's like, yeah, no, it's that guy. It's like, bro, do your job.
Okay, let me devil's advocate this again, though. So what about somebody like Brad Marchand, right?
Yeah, I can't
hate that guy. Hate that. Everybody hates that. Blow the whistle on him. Hate that guy. He's skating around. He kisses somebody. It's like, fuck him. Blow the whistle.
Licking faces. 100%. But as much as I hate him, from one game to the next, he should be able to draw penalties. Like,
he should.
I'll give you another example. Now, as a Leafs fan, okay, Wes McCauley, you have to know that name, right? He's reffed. He's been around for a long time. Apparently, there was some sort of an issue with him and a personal relationship. He was married to somebody in the Leafs organization's sister or something like that, right? Now, this is not a coincidence. In the playoffs, the Leafs he has reffed in his career 10, from what I'm reading here, 10 playoff games that the Leafs have been in. The Leafs have not won a single one of those games. Not one. Every single time. Like, I want you to do me a favor. Get some homework for you, okay? Next season, whenever Wes McCauley is reffing a Leafs game, I'm going to text you. I'm going to say, watch this game. The Leafs will not win that hockey game.
Okay.
Right? And it's just too much of a ridiculous statistic to be real, to be like a coincidence, right? They just don't win. They don't get any power plays when he's reffing. They haven't won a single playoff game in his entire career reffing Leafs games in the playoffs. Not one.
So it doesn't matter whether it's a home or away or playoffs or anything. Huh.
Leafs have won 0 playoff games out of 10 with him reffing the game? Wes McCauley. It's a very clear bias. And yes, I'm a Leafs fan, but I mean, I would say that if we were talking about the Rangers, or if we were talking about, Montreal, or whoever the case might be, that statistic is just too wild to be accurate, to just be a coincidence.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know. And again, it goes back into, so basically the rumor stems from a longstanding rumor that tied McCauley's family connection to David Frost, Jim McCauley, his brother-in-law. It was controversial junior hockey coach hockey coach and agent, who had highly publicized abusive relationships with players so his brother-in-law was accused of abusive relationships with the players or something like that in the minor leagues, in the Leafs organization. And as a result, obviously there was discipline for that, and now the Leafs haven't won a single game that he's reffed.
Well, it just up his loss.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. As soon as the game starts, as a fan of watching the game, as soon as they read the refs for the game right off the bat, you're like, Wes McCauley, oh, turn the TV off.
Turn it off.
In this one, it's over. Why don't we just mail this one in?
It's funny. I was a longtime Lightning fan, right? And the Lightning would be on like a 13-game win streak or just something crazy like that. Every time that I haven't been watching, they're on a streak, I turn them on. That's the game they lose. Boom, guaranteed loss every time.
I feel like that too sometimes. I feel like that too. You're like, you turn on that, like, literally. So this past season, I didn't get to watch any real NHL games because I was just too busy, right? With all the content creation and everything. I just never really had time. But I turned on game 1 for the Leafs. Game 1, I believe it was. When the season started, I was like, I'm gonna watch the game. Leafs were up. When I turned the game on, they were up like 3-1. Right? Within like 10 minutes, they were down 4-3. And I was like, well, not watching hockey this year.
There we go.
You're welcome. I tuned in, and
thanks for turning on the TV.
It feels like that sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Because of that, I kind of stopped watching for a while. And I got to admit, I did watch this is going to probably piss you off. I did watch the USA beat Canada at the Olympics. That was pretty cool.
I'm a bitch.
I mean, let's be honest. Canada should kick the USA's ass every year in hockey, and somehow they pulled it off. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's revenge for the golden goal by Crosby, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, and he wasn't playing in that game, as I recall. I think he was injured or something. He wasn't playing.
Yeah.
He is. I got to admit, though, Crosby is one of those like magical X factor players that he's just got it. I don't know if McDavid has it in the same way that Crosby has it, or maybe he just doesn't have it yet. I don't know.
Crosby has this weird thing where I've noticed over the years that he's played. He is, he's not too difficult to kind of, take out of the game. It's when you piss him off. As soon as somebody does something that pisses Crosby off, he just takes control of the game. It's like all of a sudden he's a demon out there. It's hat trick next period. He's just, and you can see it on his face when he gets angry, and you're like, oh, this game's about to turn.
Yeah. One of my favorite moments I saw with him, gosh, it was a long time ago, probably 10, 15 years ago now. I think it was a playoff game, and it was the Penguins were playing the Flyers, right? Their heated rival, right? And they hated the Flyers. And sure enough, it was like, second period, kind of almost done. And Crosby got in a fight with somebody. And then that's when, I don't even know if Letang is still playing, but Letang was there. and he starts beating the crap out of one of the Flyers guys, and Crosby's beating the crap out of him. And then it was like the goalie fight. You know, it was a full-on brawl. It was awesome. Loved it.
See, that's good hockey, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think about another problem I find in the NHL today is that, and my team is one of the most guilty of it, paying these players before they win anything. These kids, they're coming in and they're making this massive amount of money before they've even won anything, right? And then what happens is they just, the effort level, a lot of them just want money, and the effort level just isn't there most of the time now. Yeah. Right? Because I already got paid. I'm locked in. I got an 8-year contract. I'm making $14 million a year. Right? Screw it.
Yeah.
Right? And I really feel like we need to get back to, in the NHL, making players, especially the young ones, win before they get paid. Earn your payday. Don't get paid for something you should do or your potential could lead you to do, right? Get paid to do it. And I think that's a big problem in the NHL, not just with the Leafs, but the Leafs are the latest bad example of it. You're paying, and they're like, oh, well, what if they leave? Trade them. If they want to leave, and I know it sucks, but you know what? You got to draw a line in the sand. You're going to draft a player, whether it's his final year of RFA or he's a UFA, and stop. Another thing, side note, stop giving out no trade clauses like they're Tic Tacs, right? Like, Willie Nylander, a couple of years ago when he was signing his new contract, he sat out like right until the deadline. I think it was like within like 10 minutes of the deadline, or else he had to miss the remainder of the season. He couldn't play at all, right? And so he held out for what he wanted. Let him fucking sit. Fine. We'll see you next season, right? You just lost a whole year of your career. And an NHL career, your prime, only lasts so long. You want to fucking sit out? Go ahead. We'll play without you. Yes, you're a good player, but bad business decision. And if you did that, other players would see that and go, maybe I shouldn't be pulling at that thread.
I think I can see different sides of that one. Like, I think, yeah, it's definitely on the players, right? Because they're going along with this. But I think it's also like a culture of the agents. Like, the agents are trying to get this guaranteed payday, this guaranteed bonus up front, and they're really pushing that. And so it's almost like a cultural thing. That you're really driving home this upfront bonus. But like you said, you get paid up front, and well, then what's your incentive, right? I mean, are you just going to mail it in most of the time, but occasionally you show up? I don't know. Depends, it depends on the player.
Well, there's so many of them. I'm seeing it with the younger players, this new generation of players. So many of them, I'm sorry, like, they're very talented, but sometimes you watch a game and they're just fucking skating around doing nothing. No back checking, no nothing, because they've already gotten paid, right? Do they want to win a cup? Obviously, right? But you don't get, I think when you get paid first and you get this ego about things, and I just think that these young players start to believe that they can just take half the season off in terms of the games that they play, and they'll just cruise into the playoffs, and it's just going to be a breeze in the playoffs. And I think a lot of them are learning, especially on my Leafs, a lot of them are learning, hey, yeah, they made the playoffs for 9 years in a row, right? And they just figured that they could just coast their way into the playoffs, and every year in the playoffs, what do? They figure that they could just lollygag around, not back check, not play tight defensive hockey, and they lose. It's like, hey, playoffs is different. You actually have to put in 100% effort or you're going to lose, right? Because the other team, they're not giving 60, 70%. They're coming at you.
That's true. And especially in the playoffs, I mean, you can usually just feel it, who wants the win more. I mean, it's usually pretty obvious.
Yeah. Like, one of the teams gets lucky and they'll score a timely goal here and there and stuff. But you're absolutely right. The teams, you can see through the play, who's aggressive, who wants the puck, who, you can see it. You can cut it with a knife in the air,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's a big problem with today's NHL. I think the teams have to start being harder on the players. You know what the GMs should do? Every year, they have GM meetings. They should make a rule that you have to cap a player for the first, for the first X amount of years of their, and yes, they do in terms of RFA status, right? But you got to put some kind of rule in there so that these teams aren't paying these players like Austin Matthews $14 million. And now I'm watching all the news talk about, well, the Leafs got the first overall pick, and but they want to know where Austin Matthews is, and does he want to stay, does he want to go? The guy hasn't fucking won anything. Why do you give a shit what he wants?
Yeah.
Like, he's been in Toronto for 10 years. He's made it out of the first round twice. Right? As the leader of this team, who gives a shit what he wants? If you tell him what you're going to do, and if he says he's got 2 years left on his contract, and if he says I'm not down with it, I say give me a list of teams then. Because guess what? We could probably get 2 firsts and 2 seconds for you right now or something. Right? So later, buddy, you're not deciding the direction of this entire franchise when you haven't won a single thing. You haven't even made it to the cup final. You haven't even played for the cup. Who cares what you want? Right?
Yeah. I hear you loud and clear. You know what that reminds me of is you see this more prominent in something like tennis, for example, right? Like in tennis over the last, let's say, 20-ish years, maybe even longer, it's like 4 men have literally won everything the whole time. Like no one else has a shot. And there's, I mean, what is that, like 1,000 guys, and it's like the same 4 win it over and over and over and over. And so my point is yeah, you got a guy like that you go, man, he's really talented, but is he top 4?
Yeah.
If he's not, get rid of him. Honestly, I mean, because you're not going to win either way, Well,
exactly. And he still has all the hype around him. So the value is still there as a trade piece. I personally would love it if this summer they traded him. I love him as a player. I think I have his jersey framed on my wall in a frame, right? But again, he hasn't won anything. There's this sense of entitlement around him. He scored almost 69 goals, but that was like 2 years ago. He hasn't scored more than 40, I don't think, in going into 3 seasons now. So he's not even a top 10 player, in my opinion, in the league in terms of production over the last 3 seasons. Right?
How old is he now? Barry, yeah. What's roughly what season is he on?
He's been in the league. This is his 10th season, I think.
Okay, so he maybe has one more good peak year, and the rest of them will be mediocre, most likely.
Yeah. So I say, you know what? You got the first overall pick this year, right? You could really retool this team. You could rebuild it really fast, in my opinion. You trade Matthews. You like I said, you're probably getting what I would do this is just me. Now, San Jose said that they're open to trading the 2nd overall pick, right? And Vancouver's open to trading a 3rd overall pick, right? They've all said, of course, who would say no? We're not open to trade. Well, you're not doing your job then if you're not open, right? But either way, I would go after the 2nd or 3rd overall pick with Matthews. You probably get 2 first round picks, maybe a 2nd. I mean, I would imagine the team's going to pay for a player like that, right? Just on the risk that he could get back to being a 60-plus goal player. But anyway, so you do that. You trade Nylander. You probably get at least a 1st and a couple seconds for him or something. He's in the peak of his career. And Nylander, by the way, side note, has been consistently a playoff performer his whole career. So he leads the team every year, and despite the fact the guy doesn't back check worth a lick or anything, but I digress. He does produce in the playoffs. So I mean, you could really bring in a lot of those, a lot of first round picks, right? And do you have to just use that to draft? No, you could use a couple of them to get some other good players that are ready now, kind of thing. But most people are saying the argument on the other half is, well, Philly has Toronto's first round pick next year, and Boston has Toronto's first round pick the year after that. Toronto has, I want to say, Colorado's first round pick next year.
Okay.
So they do have a first round pick next year as well. But so they're like, yeah, but if you trade away Matthews and Nylander and you kind of got the team for picks and stuff like that, then Philly's going to get Toronto's pick and it's going to be a good pick, and same with Boston. So what if you load up and you've got 5-6 first round picks over the next 2 or 3 seasons? You've got picks too, bro. Right? What's the problem here, right? Like, I don't know. I think it's an opportunity. Plus, with Matthews having 2 years left on his contract, you don't want a Gaudreau situation or a Marner situation where they just walk out the door when you could have got, probably a first and a great prospect or something in return, right?
Yeah.
We saw Gaudreau do that in Calgary as well.
What do you think about where the players come from? And let me tell you where I'm going with this. So, I told you I was a Lightning fan for quite a while. And really, I kind of stopped watching because every time I watch, they lose. But outside of that, I remember one of the things that kind of worked for them was that they specifically went after some of the most talented KHL players from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And at a time when no one else did. And that's when they landed like Kucherov, Vasilevskiy, the goalie, like some of these guys that were just like really, really good, but they're sort of in this like shithole imperialist country that, has sort of been blacklisted by everybody. What do you think about going after those kind of guys in terms of the draft? Because like I remember, who was it? Kovalchuk, I think, was the guy that went back to the NHL, or he went back to the KHL and left the NHL, and they were all like, "Dude, really?" And he was like one of the best, and he just, so everybody after that was sort of turned off of the Russian players, but then it seems like some of the teams that bet on them have done pretty well. Curious what your take is there.
A lot of teams, my Leafs included, they do like to use the KHL and the college leagues as like almost like how do I word it? Teams that don't have a lot of picks because they've traded them away and they don't have a lot of prospects. A lot of times, what you'll see them do is they will go to the KHL in the summertime. They'll go to the college leagues and stuff, and they'll sign a bunch of kids from those areas, right? Just to kind of fill up their prospect pool again and try to start there and maybe package some of them up. And it works sometimes. I mean, Tyler Bozak, right, he was a college student who he went undrafted. Toronto signed him. He ended up building a good career playing alongside Phil Kessel. And then he went on to St. Louis, I believe it was, and had a fairly decent career throughout St. Louis as well. So you can find some good players that way for sure. I think it's a great strategy.
Yeah. It's kind of like a high risk, high reward. So if it blows up in your face, like it's not great. But if it does pan out, maybe it can work out. I don't know.
Here's the thing. If it blows up in your face, you can always, most of the time, just bury the contract in the AHL, right? So that's usually what you'll end up seeing. And then these players get fed up being in the AHL, and then they just leave and they go back to the KHL or whatever if they don't pan out, right? So,
what do you think about tax jurisdictions? Because I know sometimes players look into this stuff too, right? And they say, "Well, I don't want to play there because it's too much taxes," and then they want to play somewhere where there's less taxes or whatever. What do you think about that?
I think that I've heard rumors that the board of governors or whatever, the GMs, are talking about how to counteract that because it is bullshit, right? If a player comes, like Winnipeg is a perfect example of that. They have a hard time signing players because the taxes in Manitoba and in Canada are so high. The players give up so much as opposed to going somewhere like Tampa where there's no tax,
Right.
right? It's almost like it's almost like if you're the GM of Tampa, you have a higher salary cap for players than other teams, right? And it's definitely an advantage um, that's been taken for granted, I believe. But that and another thing that Tampa's guilty of, and and a few other, a handful of teams, that's driving me nuts is this LTIR bullshit.
What's that?
Well, long-term injury reserve, right? So what's been happening is that, and Tampa did this for a few years. This is why they ended up being a stacked team and they won like 3 cups in a row, is that they would put like Kucherov, 1 year Kucherov was on LTIR for the final like month or two of the season. And then once playoffs start, the salary cap goes away. So he comes back and he can play.
He's back.
Yeah. So they free up his cap space at the deadline, whatever it is, $10 million, let's say. They end up trading for like, 1 or 2 more, either one really good player or 2 decent players, right, to improve their team. And then the playoffs start. Oh, Kucherov's okay. Mark Stone does it every year too for the Golden Knights, right? They do that. And that's driving me nuts. Like that is such bullshit in my opinion. That they do. It's miraculously he's okay for game 1 of the playoffs. He's been out since the trade deadline, right? But
well, you got to think though, like in the NHL, I mean, they never really disclose the injury, right? It's usually like, yeah, it's lower body, it's upper body. They're very general about it. So, I mean, I think you could almost equally say, like, for let's say the Leafs GM, why the hell aren't you doing that, right?
Well, that's the thing is they had opportunities over the last year or two, and I'll say it like as a fan, and a lot of other fans are saying like do it,
yeah,
right? Do the same thing. Put some of your higher paid players on LTIR, trade for some, stack this fucking team and win a cup, but they won't do it. They won't participate, right? Certain teams will. I know, like I said, Las Vegas does it, Tampa does it. I think Florida was doing it. I think Kachuk last season or season before? Kachuk was right at the deadline. He was out, and then he came back for the playoffs. It's like like all their like 2 of their best players, highest paid players, took the last like 2 months of the season off, and then came back for the playoffs. Like they had like $20 million in extra cap. So it's like really. Really?
Yeah, they come back energized and ready to go.
All healed up. Yeah, no bumps and bruises. Yeah.
That's really funny.
Scam.
uh,
It's another thing that here's why I like the NHL. You do have players from all over the world, right? Which is great. It's like this open league, which I love. They've even talked about teams over in Sweden and stuff like that. And, but they've tested it. Like you've noticed, they've played the first couple of games out in Europe and stuff like that, and then they come back, right? But the reason I like that is because and this is why I haven't really watched NFL football. I remember watching the Super Bowl. I can't remember what year it was for the life of me. I don't even remember who won. I think it might have been the Steelers or something. Anyway, the commentator comes on when they win the Super Bowl, and they're like, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the champions of the world. And I sat there thinking for a second, well, you're the champions of you, but the rest of the world doesn't play in your league. So they're the champions of the United States. They're not the champions of the world.
Yeah. Some of them just like those bragging rights. Like the one that used to, the one that always pissed me off was the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, and then they'd go America's team. I was like, bullshit. They're not America's. I don't care about this team. Hate that team.
Triggered. Yeah. Yeah,
it's funny.
It's the whole Texas theme, I suppose, eh?
Hey, so here's a slightly different thing with hockey. So let's talk about presentation. Okay, so I think I've told you this maybe before. I don't know if we covered this on the shift or not. That I do not like watching hockey on ESPN. It's
Oh,
just
God.
flat to me. It's like the vibe is bad. The presentation is not what it was on NBC. It's nowhere near it, right?
Yeah.
And NBC just they had the vibe, they had the right people, they had the feel. All of it just kind of worked for them, I think.
Have
And
you let me ask you this. Have you ever watched an NHL game from a Canadian broadcaster?
no,
I highly encourage you to.
okay,
You will probably never want to watch an American broadcast of an NHL game ever again. We watch a lot of them. We get them because of this whole regional restrictions thing
yeah,
is absurd. I can't watch a Toronto game living in Winnipeg, but I can watch a Philly versus the Rangers game. What I don't know what that's about, how that works, but I digress. Um, the just to go on what you're saying here, the intensity and the non-biasness, I suppose, of Canadian broadcasters. Like I can't say there's no bias, but for example, I remember watching the Leafs play Tampa in the playoffs a few years back,
okay,
and it was a Tampa broadcast I was watching, right? And the like you were saying, the complete lack of energy when the opposing team had the puck.
yeah,
Like, what do you think you're sucking the energy out of the people watching on TV?
I
They
know,
don't affect the team on the ice, right? The team can't hear you sucking the air out of your television broadcast. The people in the arena can't hear you. What are you doing? Right? It's
yeah,
like Kucherov will get the puck and he's all up in arms like he's coming in, he's freaking out, and then Austin Matthews is coming back the other way with the puck. So yeah, here comes Austin Matthews coming across the ice, shoots the puck, goes wide. I'm like, bro, really? Right? If you watch Hockey Night in Canada, if it's Tampa Bay versus Toronto, if Kucherov scores, you're going to get the same energy and excitement out of the broadcaster when Tampa scores as you would when Toronto scores. The whole game is kind of you have the equilibrium of energy.
yeah, yeah.
It's just not like that in the States. It's okay for your commentators to be biased a little bit, but to be completely devoid of charisma and energy when the other team has the puck is just bad TV.
Well, and maybe that's part of it, right? It's the charisma and just being a better commentator, right? Like I miss Doc Emmerich, I miss Pierre right down, at center ice. He's right there. Like I miss
Dr.
that,
Puck.
man. Like they had that dialed in. If I knew that was coming on, I was like, hell yeah, I'm turning it on, I'm watching it. And now it's like I turn on ESPN, like you said, it's just flat and there's just no life in it. I don't know, and even going back to the Olympic game, that was on NBC and it was back. And I was like, holy shit, like this is what it was like, and it's like, God, can this contract on ESPN run out already? Like, holy cow, you know?
Yeah, that was something that happened here in Canada as well. We had, I think it was Rogers ended up getting all of the rights for broadcasting or something like that for NHL games in Canada. And they came on, and at first people were like, oh, right, oh no. And then they came out and they said, don't worry, they promised they were actually going to get rid of regional restrictions. They say one of the quotes was that, if you live in Vancouver, you're going to be able to watch a Montreal game. If you live in Winnipeg, you're going to be able to watch a Toronto game. And like that was the big promise that boy, did they overpromise and under-deliver on that. Again, I still can't watch. I have an Android box with all the sports packages so that I can watch any game I want
Yeah.
because regional restrictions. Why do regional restrictions apply? Do you know why that is?
Not really. No, I don't. I
Like, are
mean,
you not affecting your ratings by limiting the amount of people that can't watch a Montreal game on the west coast of the country? How does that work in any benefit to anybody?
I don't know if it depends sometimes on who the network is broadcasting the game and what the provider is that you're on, because like sometimes they have those, they have different arrangements, right? Like you'll randomly hear about like, yeah, Frontier is having a battle with ESPN. They're not, ESPN's saying they're going to pull the channel if Frontier doesn't pay. It's like a highway ransom, and maybe that's part of it too, that not all things are like created equal on that. And sometimes you get stuck with like a broadcast far away than the one right in your backyard. Like I think about it like, like when you go to the grocery store, like if I go to the grocery store right now, I live in Florida and I want to get peaches that are, let's say, grown and ripe in Georgia, right? Georgia has the best peaches. But if I go to the grocery store, you know where the peaches are from? California. Why the hell is that? I don't want a California peach. I want a Georgia peach.
So I looked it up, and apparently each team sells the rights to their games on TV, but only to one local channel in their own city or area. That local channel pays the team a crap ton of money, of extra cash, for being the only one allowed to broadcast there. Okay, so that makes sense, because that was key, right? It said, well, that network pays for the rights to exclusively be able to broadcast that game in that area, is what it says. So, which makes sense. Okay, so let's say the whatever channel is paying for the rights in the GTA in Toronto or in all of Ontario, for example, to broadcast the game. Why the hell can't I watch it in Manitoba? Right? They're not competing with the broadcast company in Manitoba for ratings.
Maybe they just have you blocked. They're like, that guy, block him. He's our bad luck charm. Block him. You're like, hey, come on.
Wes McCauley's reffing anyway.
Exactly. Hey, he could be listening to this and he'll blow the whistle on you. Block him.
The things I would say if I knew he was listening. Everything on YouTube, beep, 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 beep.
That's funny.
Yeah. But I'm planning on obviously getting back into next season and watching every game. I'm actually starting a YouTube channel for just watching the games and kind of reacting to them as they go, because I figured, you know what, I sit and watch them anyway. I might as well, have a conversation with the chat and stuff like that while it's happening, right?
Yeah, get some reactions out of it.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to next season. We'll see what happens. I think that this year, I don't really care who wins. There's not really any teams that I care about in the playoffs right now. Who's left? Who hasn't been eliminated yet? I'm looking at the NHL Network, but it's giving me the standings, the playoffs. Let me see. Who's left?
Yeah, who is left? I don't even know.
Colorado is playing Minnesota right now. Not right now, but, in general right now.
Okay.
You've got Las Vegas is playing Anaheim. Anaheim in the second round of the playoffs. What the hell happened? I thought they were terrible.
That happened. That's weird.
Apparently they're good again. So Dallas is eliminated by Minnesota. That's surprising.
That is surprising.
You've got wow, dude. So you've got Montreal and Buffalo playing each other in round 2. Montreal's leading that series 2-1. Carolina has swept Philly and is already waiting in the conference final for whoever wins the Buffalo-Montreal. Wow. Carolina swept Ottawa and swept Philly. They've played 8 playoff games and they're in the conference final.
That's surprising. Wow.
That's crazy, man. Wow, I didn't realize that. It's been a long time since Carolina won a cup, right?
Yeah, they had, what was his name? Eric Stahl. Eric Stahl, was he their good player that they had for a while?
Yeah, he's from the same my hometown. We're both from Thunder Bay, the Stahl brothers. And
Yeah. God, there were so many. What was there, like 5 of them?
three in the
Three?
NHL. Yeah,
Okay.
Eric, Jordan, and I can't remember the third one. He
Okay.
played for the Rangers or something. Anyway, you know what? I think I'm gonna pick Colorado for the Cup. They're just perennially good. Did I say that right? Like a perennial.
Perennially.
Yes, perennially.
Perennial. There you go.
They're just good every year. Okay, let's just say that.
Yeah.
They seem to have it every year. So I think I'm going to have to go with Colorado here. I think they take out Minnesota. They'll probably end up. Wouldn't it be crazy if Anaheim won the Cup?
That would be weird. It's been a while.
They just haven't even made the playoffs for like how long, and then
Yeah.
they've been like a bottom feeder team, and then they just come in and win the Cup.
They've been irrelevant since the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah. That'd be crazy. But Carolina sweeping back-to-back series.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I saw that happen. But Carolina always chokes them.
That's true. Yeah, I went to a Colorado Avalanche game at one point. I have a buddy of mine, that former college roommate that lives in Denver, and at one point in time, he had a job working for the Denver soccer team. I don't even know if they're still there or not, but they were the Colorado Rapids, and the same owner owned like all the teams. And he was like, "Yeah, I can get into anything." I was like, "Really?" And so we went and visited him. We went to like an Avalanche game. I mean, we were like 10 rows up off the ice, like it was crazy. And went to like a Nuggets game, and it was pretty cool.
Oh, I did go to an NHL game this year. I took my father-in-law to the Montreal Winnipeg Jets game because he's a Habs fan. So I bought tickets. He hasn't been to an NHL game since like the 80s. So I was like, I bought tickets right at the glass too.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, the seats in the Winnipeg's arena, the shits.
They're hard as fuck.
So small, dude, right?
Oh, gosh.
And the boards, my knees are touching the boards, and I'm crammed in this little seat. My hips are being pressed by the seat. It's so small. I'm like leaning forward with my beer and my hot dog because it's so tight. People are on both sides of me here like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I understand you're trying to sell as many seats as possible. I think they have like the NHL's smallest arena.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they got to do that.
Yeah. Well, they made the mistake of putting it downtown, right? I mean, why don't they do what Ottawa did? This is what people wanted them to do. Do what Ottawa did. Build the arena just outside the city.
Yeah. Yeah. Have more room, more space, right? Like if you think about it, sports have advanced so far in terms of like your home experience that going to the actual game, they really gotta step it up, or they're gonna lose everybody. Because like you see a lot of that in the NFL today, where everyone's redoing their stadiums because they're just not competitive. Like nobody wants to spend all day on their one day off at the game. You spend like $175 for food and 3 waters. You spend $50 on parking, all this shit, and then you're sitting in this hard plastic seat. In this case, getting cooked by the sun. So at least in the NHL, I mean, you're indoors, but I mean, still, like nobody wants to sit in some uncomfortable chair, slam next to the people all around you. I mean, unless it's like a playoff game, okay, fine, whatever. But even still, I mean, they really got to step it up,
Oh, I agree. And there needs to be better fandom as well. I know it's not really controllable, but I remember a few years ago I was watching a Rangers game, and they were saying that I can't remember who was in town playing. They were playing in New York, and the Rangers fans were refusing to let people into the bathrooms during intermissions and stuff.
Really?
And it's like, I'll whip it out and piss right on your floor in your arena, dude. Right? Like, yeah. That's how you want to be. But like, that's really, we've kind of started to get away from, the point of being a fan, the sportsmanship of it, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember we went down to a game in Minnesota. A friend of mine is a big Oilers fan, so we went down for that, and we were all wearing Edmonton Oilers jerseys. and Edmonton got destroyed in this game, right? And we were getting booed out of the building, and we were talking smack, whatever. But this was years ago. But it was all in good fun. Nobody was trying to assault anybody else, and like none of that stuff. They're like, go back to Canada, and my buddy's like, yeah, we lost today, but you'll be fat forever, and all this kind of stuff, right? But it's all in good fun, right?
Well, let's be honest too. I mean, you're in Minnesota, right? I mean, like a battle between a Minnesotan and a Canadian. It's like, it's like a battle of who has like the hardest handshake, versus like if like what's just like again, like if you went down to like, the Florida Panthers or Tampa or something, you're going to run into a slew of assholes.
Yeah.
It'd be a little bit different. Yeah. Yeah. Or like Philadelphia. I mean, that's another one like, or New Jersey.
Yeah. The sportsmanship is kind of gone. I'm thinking about going down to Toronto next year for an NA. I was going to come down to your area. I was going to come down for the Leafs tour in Tampa and Florida. Because they go down and do that Florida swing twice a year, right? I was going to go down this year, but I wasn't really tracking hockey or anything this past season, so I didn't. And it's a good thing I didn't, because boy, would that have been a waste of money. But I'm thinking, my father is he's a Leafs fan as well, and I don't think he's ever been to an NHL game.
Really?
Never in his life.
You gotta take him. What are you waiting for?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this season coming up, I might pick him up in his town there, because he lives like halfway between where I am and Toronto. So I think I'll drive down. He's about 8 hours away. I'll drive down there, and then we'll fly out from where he is, fly down to Toronto, and get a box or something like that, and take him to an NHL game. I think that's what I'm going to do next season. Because he said something. I never knew he had any desire to go to an NHL game, but I told him that I was taking my father-in-law to the Habs game. He's like, well, I've never been to an NHL game. I'm like, well, I guess that's what's happening next year.
He probably heard you say that, and he went, hey, wait a minute, what about me?
Yeah. What's going on here, right?
Yeah. He's like, you're my kid, not his kid. What the hell?
Disowned. So yeah, I think that's my plan. The problem is, like I said, it could be a waste of money, because I would really hate to pay to fly down to Toronto, get either seats or a box, and it turns out to be one of those games that the Leafs decide we're just going to not play tonight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I paid all this money to come down there, and for tickets, and for for your jersey, and for all this stuff, and you just going to do me dirty like that?
Hey, so what about this? I know we haven't talked about this, but what about minor league hockey? Because I got to admit that I may like minor league hockey sometimes even better than the NHL.
Yeah, I took my girls to a couple of the Manitoba Moose games.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's still, I think, for AHL hockey a little bit pricey, but
yeah,
I think I ended up spending, I guess not that much. Maybe I spent like $150, $200 for all three of us to go. They had fun, so I guess it wasn't that much compared to like tickets in Toronto or something. But I could see that. I'd like to go to like a Marlies game. I go to the Moose games, but I could give a shit, right? I mean, I'm not a Jets fan, even though I live in Winnipeg. So
hey, I got a funny story. So by us, there's a ECHL team. It's the Icemen is their name, right? And again, like I really like the minor league stuff, because I mean, they're fast, but they're not as sharp, right? So you tend to get more goals. You definitely get a lot of fights, which are awesome, right? Love that part about it. But when my son was younger, at one point his school did a field trip to a hockey game, right? To the Icemen, right? And it was like they randomly just had a game kind of in the middle of the day, and it was for all the kids to go to. You think you've been to an intense game with an adults? Like, holy shit, try to go with like elementary kids to a hockey game. Like, it was insane, man. It was like the loudest thing that I've like ever like had my head in for, that amount of time, like my ears are probably still ringing from it. But the funny thing is like, they would play like all of their music, all their songs and stuff, but then the team still put on a show. Like at one point they had a full on brawl, and it was like 3 fights going at once, and the kids were like, like loving it. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to when my son is old enough to take him. I'll start taking him to AHL games and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get him into hockey. Well, we'll see this winter. Every year I plan on teaching him how to skate, but he's 6 now, so I got to get on that. Right, time's ticking, but I just get so busy with everything, work, and I hate the cold.
Mm.
For living in Canada, it's not a good recipe. Right?
Yeah, that's not a good one for you.
No,
yeah, my son, he doesn't really get into sports like at all, like hardly anything. And ironically enough, way back when we were naming him, I named him after Vinny LeCavier. So his name's Vince,
Nice.
Yeah. So another Canadian. But what was cool about him, outside of being like just a epic player for the Lightning at the time, I remember reading about him at one point that he donated something like it was insane. It was like he gave like $28 million to the local hospital or something like that, like just a crazy amount of money. I was like, holy cow, like wow, like that's pretty awesome.
Didn't he come back? Is he playing in Chicago or something right now?
No, he doesn't play anymore. He's long retired. But
the Caviar. Sorry, I was thinking.
What do you think about Stamkos?
Taves for some reason. I was thinking.
Taves. Taves. Yeah. Well, he was Chicago.
Taves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I kind of crossed those.
Yeah.
But yeah, Le Cavier. Him and
St. Louis were like the
St.
pair.
Louis, yeah, the coach of Montreal now, eh?
Yeah. Is he the coach of Montreal? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's been the head coach, I think, for two seasons, I think, for Montreal. So,
hey, you know what? Here's a quick sidebar, funny story. So this is years ago. I was on this team for work, and we had a trip in Tampa, right? And I kept telling him, like, kind of building up to this work trip. I was like, we got to go to a Lightning game. We got to go to a Lightning game. That'd be awesome, So we end up going to a Lightning game, and 2 of them are drinking like literally the whole time, and they're drinking doubles.
Oh boy!
Each time a double. Each time a double. Another. I mean, they must have had 10 doubles.
Ooh.
Something like that, right? So me and the other guy, it's like we're having our fair share of like Labatt's or whatever, but not like those guys, And I remember afterwards, we're leaving and they're trying to get another double, and the bar's finally just like, no, you like leave, like you're done, leave, that's it, And I remember we were walking away, and they have a statue of I think it's Dave Andreychuk, right? So he's the one that got their first cup, and he's holding it, in the air, and it's this huge statue of him. And like one of the guys is like grabbing the legs of the statue, and he's like rocking it back and forth. I'm like, what are you doing? Like you're gonna get the crap beat out of you in Tampa outside of being wasted on all those doubles,
For crying out loud, man.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. What are you doing?
Some people got balls. I'll give them that.
Oh, yeah. I think it went beyond that.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I think we're just about out of time, brother. I'm going to try to watch those Daredevil episodes so we can get into that on Wednesday. And yeah, I can't believe I run out of time, right? With everything going on, but I'll throw them on. Maybe I'll like binge watch like 4 episodes throughout the next, maybe tonight or something. And I remember I did watch the first episode, and I do remember like it's very violent first episode.
Yes. Yeah. And I should preface it by saying that, right? Like, whenever you turn on a show and it shows all the like the icons, it's like sexual situations, violence, drug use, this thing, that thing. Like if it's got like a laundry list of them, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good one. So yeah, Daredevil gets it gets pretty intense at certain points, and we talked about some of those actors in there. I mean, yeah, it's legit.
I'm looking forward to it, man. So yeah, so any final thoughts in terms of the NHL?
Okay, I would say I like the NHL. I think they have really cool team names. I really like playoff hockey better than regular season hockey. I really wish ESPN would lose their contract and it'd go back to NBC.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Those are all my gripes and likes. And overall, one thing I would say about hockey versus other sports, and this is one of the things I always really liked about hockey is much more of a team game. I like that. Whereas in other sports, you have a lot of that me. Hockey, not so much. I mean, the whole team really has to gel together. And I really love a good hockey fight also, especially when it kind of amps everybody up. So that's probably where I'd leave it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that a lot of times when a team is unsuccessful, but they have skilled players, it's because those skilled players are playing like individuals, not like team.
Yep.
Like a team structure. So I agree with that. For me, I'd like to see a lot more consistency in terms of the rules and the calling and the reffing and stuff like that. And I love that there's a difference between regular season hockey and playoff hockey, but the consistency in playoff hockey has to be something that they take as paramount, right? You can't put your whistles away for 2 periods and then start calling everything in the third or whatever, because you're teaching the players how to act in a game, and then you rug them, right? Yeah. You let them get away with everything, and then the third, you're like, oh, thought you were getting away with it.
Now we're gonna get you. Yeah, 5-on-3. Whoops! It's the third period. Oh well.
Thought you had a chance to win the game, did you?
And you don't.
Damn. Oh, man. All right, guys, that concludes our episode. We will see you on Wednesday, and God bless.
Till then, paradigm shift out.